What is your "thank God it was just a dream" moment? Going to school naked. My dick fell out and I was like, shit. Then I woke up. I recently had a dream that my dog died. My sister came up to me and just told me. I had no recollection of him dying, and in that moment she told me. I had to do my best to hold back tears. I was so confused during the dream because the news just blindsided me. The next morning, I woke up and saw him sitting in his little bed. It was quite the scare. Was in the army as infantry. Before I had a family and kids. I still have plenty of dreams where I'm going back over there and I'm just so worried about it all. Then I wake up and I'm like, oh thank God. My dream started with me waking up from coma and discovering that I have been in coma for 8 years. My parents were dead. My brother was dead. My friends weren't there anymore. I was all alone, realizing that I have nobody in my life and that best years of my life have been wasted. This dream was different from my other dreams. This dream felt very, very real and realistic. Usually I can control my dreams, but I was powerless in this one. The feeling of panic, hopelessness and sadness was so strong that I killed myself. And that is when I woke up. Although I was panicking a little bit afterwards and feeling that this actually happened, I was very relieved that I woke up. Wet dream. Gay sex with a coworker. I'm not gay. For the past 3 weeks, I've been having these nightmares where I am back in school, all alone, unable to find my classes, failing my classes, missing the bus, and my bullies being much worse. I was bullied a lot when I was in school. I have sworn that I would never go to a brick-and-mortar school again after I graduated high school. One morning, I woke up, worried that I forgot my science homework. 5 minutes later, I realized I don't go to school anymore. That was a relief. Dreamt that my estranged stepbrother raped me while holding a knife inside my mouth. As he finished raping me, he stabbed me through the back of my throat. I felt it and heard the crunch. Then woke up. Most fucked up dream I've ever had. Just this morning I dreamt that I cut my hair after growing it for over 10 years. My current boyfriend breaking up with me to get married to the girl my ex cheated on me with. I was arrested for some reason I don't remember. And the officer had just taken me out of the car and was about to walk me into the station. My hands were cuffed behind my back, and he kept roughing me up for no reason, smacking me on the head. Stuff like that. It got worse and worse. And I started getting really mad. Eventually I snapped, and with my hands still bound, I charged him. He fell back and hit his head against the station's brick wall. He fell down to the ground and was completely motionless. Immediately I freaked out. Oh my God, he's dead. I'm a cop killer. I'm gonna get executed. The panic woke me up. And it wasn't just a feeling of relief, but like that I got away with it. Had one just this morning. In the dream, I discovered my husband fucking my mom. I've had that dream a few times before, and it didn't make any sense to me. It would never happen IRL. But I realized that it usually occurred after days where I thought about her too much and remembered ways she used to purposely try and ruin my friendships and other relationships. I guess my husband fucking my mom is just the most extreme version of that my scumbag dreaming brain can come up with. Falling through an infinite abyss. My school blew up while all the kids were inside. Otherwise I wouldn't mind. In real life, my kittens have ringworm and we put them in quarantine. But it already passed to my dog, my sister, and my mom. For now, me and my dad are safe. In my dream, however, I thought I was safe until I turned my head and saw a huge mushroom growing on my shoulder. Ringworm is a fungus. My parents told me not to cut it off, but I accidentally brushed it and it fell into the sink, but it morphed into a weird heart-looking thing and it started beating like one. Then I woke up, and I'm still pretty sure I'm ringworm free. I fell off a cliff and died. For some reason I didn't wake up. My dream even had a small funeral service scene for me. That I was pregnant. I'm a guy, but it felt so realistic. My dad, just like the rest of my family, has blue eyes. I dreamed that my whole family was sitting in our living room, with my dad talking about something. Very quickly I noticed that his eyes are a very weird color. They basically have 3 different colored rings around the pupil. Yellow, red and again yellow. In addition, his pupils dilate and contract quickly, but not symmetrically, one pupil being bigger, smaller than the other one. At first it seems that he is very enthusiastic about the conversation, but he looks more hyper and feverish by the minute. I poke my mom and say, "Look at his eyes. I don't like them. They're weird." He's becoming more excited about whatever, starts sweating, and then just slumps into the sofa, passing out. My mom, nurse in real life, goes over in a relaxed way and checks on him, while I just look at him in a very confused and WTH manner. Then I hear my mom coming into my room and waking me up with the question, "It's 8:10. Are you getting up yet?" I was very confused and my heart was beating quickly for about 10 minutes. But I was super relieved when I saw that my dad, caregiver, nurse assistant in real life, not sure what it's called in English, had returned safely from his night shift. The dream reminded me of Supernatural, in a scary way. Edit wording, grammar and details. I've had multiple dreams where I've ended up crapping myself for one reason or another. When I saw my dog saved my life from a wolf but my dog died, it was horrifying, and doesn't help that my dreams are always super vivid. Basically any time that I experience sleep paralysis. Yesterday I dreamt I met myself. He wanted me to guess the song that was playing. I guessed correctly but he told me no and I believed the fucker. I dreamed that I had a class in college that I had forgotten that I signed up for and missed like half the class before I remembered. I just dreamed that my dog died from eating chocolate. She is very confused as to why I'm cuddling her. 2020 per seconds. Being grabbed by demons and dragging me to hell. Cheating on my wife with her friend while my wife stands at the end of the bed screaming divorce threats. But I just keep going and ignoring her. Legitimately thought I was in deep trouble. But then woke up. Dreamt that there was a guy with a knife stabbed in the chest. Instead of what I would do like a normal person and call the police or something, I evilly stuck the knife deeper and grinned like I was a different person. Like a psychotic demon, if you will. It is one of those not what happened to me but what I did that disturbed me, and I filed it as a nightmare. That or the one when my balls fell out. Take your pick. Being chased by a bunch of zombies like the characters in Resident Evil 2 or 7. Peeing my pants on vacation. Thank God I was only in my bed. Just this morning I dreamed my teeth were falling out. Oh wait, I was living happy with my ex. LMAO, that God, that was a dream. I dreamed that I was half blind, in a wheelchair and in a zombie apocalypse, and in this dream I heard people speaking of a naked walla, e.g. when I dreamed it I was 7. Sorry for bad English. Getting pregnant. I'm terrified of pregnancy and the dream was a nightmare too. I didn't know whose it was and my family cast me out, and I remember waking up and still not being convinced. I had to keep reminding myself I was fine, but it really shook me up. The second one has to be reoccurring dreams I have where I accidentally eat meat. I'm veggie. It's so heartbreaking because you feel like ashamed. It's weird to admit, but the feeling I had from the pregnant dream is exactly the same as the feelings I have in the accidentally eat meat dreams. Both having the same residual "was it a dream" feeling during a bleary-eyed morning. I had a dream once fairly recently that I was at my aunt's house and all my family was there. I kept saying, "We need to wait for X," my husband, and everyone kept giving me weird looks till they finally sat me down and said, "X doesn't exist. He's never existed. You're still with abusive X." I've never been more happy to wake up from a nightmare, and I often have night terrors involving the traumas I've already been through. During election night, I fell asleep and dreamed that Trump became president. I was pleased to wake up and find that it had been a dream. I was in for a very rude awakening. Just last night I dreamt that all A's I had worked so hard for had turned into 50s for some reason. I freaked out and got out of bed to check that my grades were still all good. I once dreamed that I got a new puppy and took it to a new apartment that I was moving into. I went back to move my other stuff from my old apartment and forgot where my new apartment was. Time passed and I was staying at a friend's house for months when I remembered that I had left a puppy in that new apartment. In my dream I ran around the city frantically looking for that new apartment. I was very happy to wake up from that one. I dreamed my father died. Shit was so vivid I was physically affected for the next half hour or so after waking up. Well, my dad is a healthy man in his 50s, so all is good. I've got a newborn daughter. My wife and I have had so fucking many of these moments in the last 3 weeks it'd be hard to itemize them. Most recent one had her literally cooked alive by a UV light for treating jaundice. I'm sleeping great. How about you? Dreams during pregnancy are really weird thanks to hormones. In one my little sister was having another baby, she has 4. Instead of me. I woke up super pregnant and confused. In another, my husband paid for an escort. In the dream, I was more angry about the amount he paid than the cheating. Once awake, was mad about both. I once had a dream where my dog was run over and killed. I was holding it in my arms with blood all over me. Getting a god-awful tattoo. I love tattoos, but for some reason I have had a few dreams where I cover my entire body in embarrassing tattoos. A few years ago, I had a very vivid dream where my girlfriend of 5 years had died. It was extremely long and I went through years of grieving her and it was the most pain I've ever been in. When I woke up, I cried because I missed her so much. When the dream started to fade and I realized that she was alive, I cry again, but out of happiness. It was the worst experience of my life. Test anxiety dreams are the worst. I'd get late for them. Not study for the wrong paper. The list goes on. The dreams where I am back with and/or having sex with my abusive ex. I always wake up in a cold sweat and feeling absolutely disgusting and revolted. Sometimes I cry in frustrated relief. Luckily I haven't had a dream like that in years, but the worst was when I had that dream with my now husband on our honeymoon. I'm sure it was just subconsciously triggered in some way, but it still made me feel like a scumbag. Even though I in no way wanted to get back with him. Funny enough, my new groom woke up in a bad mood and said he dreamed that night about his ex-wife trying to get him back. We both laughed and hugged at how ironic it was that we had the same awful dream the same night and believed perhaps we were psychically linked and joined in the dream world or some woo-woo shit like that. We haven't had those dreams since Think blog. That I was still living at home with my BPD narcissistic mother. I woke up and had to take inventory of my current life for a few seconds, happily married, awesome kid, etc. It was very disturbing. Cheating on my wife. I woke up sweating and worried, telling her that I'm sorry. She had a good laugh, though. It was mortifying. I'm 5 years sober and in times of great stress, I will occasionally have dreams where I fall off the wagon. It takes days to shake off the shame of it. Days. I have to tell myself over and over that it didn't actually happen. That I didn't actually let myself and my family down. That I'm not a failure. Sigh. Still waiting for it? Like, come on. I've been asleep long enough. Had a dream that my teeth were falling out. Full on panic when I woke up. My penis came off in my hand when I was a kid. It actually happened twice. The first time scared the crap out of me. I sometimes dream that I wake up, but instead of doing my usual routine, something really creepy happens. A few days ago I woke up, played on my phone and wanted to take a photo. When opening the app I could see something like a black mist in the doorway of my bedroom. I put the phone away and there was something demon-like floating in the air. Then I woke up. I was so done I checked the doorway with my phone. Thank God there was no black mist. I dreamt my mom and dad and my aunt and uncle decided my cousin David had to die. They told me I had to do it. I got a butcher knife and chased him outside around the house. He tripped and fell and I stabbed him in the throat. Horrible dream. So happy to wake up. Also so confused. David is my favorite. The dream of failing a course or a critical exam in your last semester of college, only to wake up and remember you graduated several years ago. Every day I wake up, because I always dream that I'm left alone in a big and dark building that resembles a school, and in my dreams I can never get out. I'm tired of dreaming. They aren't nightmares, but they aren't interesting or pleasant dreams either. Also, like a month ago I dreamed that my mother died. I woke up and started crying, ran to her room, and hugged her for a long time. She had a couple of surgeries, so I guess I was afraid of something going wrong. The dream feeling took some time to wear off that day and I kept gravitating towards her.